Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, today I want to talk to you about how Christians should have a higher standard of marriage. And this is taken today from Matthew 19, verses 1 through 12. Okay? You're going to see where he's talking about divorce, but of course, to be divorced, you have to be married first. And we as Christians need to have a higher standard of marriage. Okay? So let me start reading here. It says this: when Jesus had finished saying these things, he left Galilee and went to the region of Judea, to the other side of the Jordan. Large crowds followed him, and he healed them. Some Pharisees came to him to test him. They asked, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any and every reason?" So just so you understand what is happening here is there was Pharisees, and they followed the teachings of other Jewish leaders, okay? And so one Jewish leader was famous, and he was saying that if you have a wife and she does anything to offend you, then you can divorce her. And I was like, anything. And then the other one said, not everything, but you need to forgive a lot of things. Okay, so there was two camps, you might say, of you could divorce your wife if she made your cereal too hot or something like that. And then there was the other one that said you can't divorce your wife unless she cheats on you. That's it. Okay, so there's two camps. And so these Pharisees come and they were like asking Jesus the direct question, what's lawful to do, knowing that whatever answer he gives, you would lose half the people because half the people were following either of these two camps. So, but Jesus is smarter than that. He goes all the way back to Genesis, okay? And so let's see what he says here. Verse 4, haven't you read, and of course they've read this, all right? He replied that at the beginning, the Creator made them male and female and said, "For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and will be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate." All right, so going back all the way to creation. Okay, so what God has joined together, let no one separate. I have, and this has been illustrated quite a bit, I have two blocks of wood, man and wife. Okay, so there's the two blocks of wood. If I take and glue these together, I have liquid nails here. If I take and glue these together, put the liquid nail between them here, and glue them together, what will happen is if I go, oh man, I need to separate those two blocks of wood out. After I glue them together, the glue is the marriage, the marriage that God has done for us. Okay, so that's the glue that holds it together. If I go, I'm going to get a divorce, and I separate them, what happens is this: you won't have two good whole pieces of wood anymore. You're going to have chunks of this one coming off and chunks of this one coming off. You damage both pieces of wood when you separate them out like that. And when you are married and then you get divorced, you damage both pieces of wood. You damage the husband, you damage the wife, you damage the children, even more so. And so that's a way to illustrate that. And Jesus was saying here, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother, and the two will be united, and the two will become one flesh. Okay, so they are no longer two, but one flesh. And he says, therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate. Okay, so God has said, marriage is meant to stay together. Okay, not take it and join it here and then separate it out and put other wood in here and all kinds of stuff. Okay, just those two pieces of wood. All right, verse 7. Why then, they asked, did Moses command that a man give his wife a certificate of divorce and send her away? Jesus replied, Moses permitted you to divorce your wives because your hearts were hard. But it was not this way from the beginning. I tell you that everyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality and marries another woman commits adultery. He says it wasn't this way in the beginning. When he set up Adam and Eve, the first couple, it wasn't, he didn't say, oh, now when you want to get divorced, you do this. No, he was like, you guys are married and you guys are going to stay together like this. And he said it was this way from the beginning. Verse 10, the disciples said to him, if this is the situation between a husband and a wife, it is better not to marry. You know, they're saying, man, this is hard to do this. Should we even bother getting married? And Jesus replied, not everyone can accept this word, but only those to whom it has been given. For there are eunuchs who were born that way, and there are eunuchs who have been made eunuchs by others. And there are those who chose to live like eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. The one who can accept this should accept it. Okay. I kind of wish I brought the book in here into the studio today. If you're thinking about getting married, or if you're married, it deals with marriage. But the book is by Miles Monroe, who is now passed away. But he's a pastor in the Bahamas, and he wrote a book called Single, Engaged, Married, and Divorced. Okay, I think that's the name of it. Then there's another book he also wrote, I think Waiting and Dating, I think is the name of that book. Either one of those books is good books that talk specifically about marriage and divorce. And the big thing, the thesis of the one book is this, that you have to be strong in Christ, okay? So I have to be strong in Christ as a husband, and my wife has to be strong in Christ before we come together, okay? And then we come together. But if I'm not strong in Christ beforehand, and I'm weak, and I'm thinking my wife can save me, and I need her to help me, then what happens is it makes it all imbalanced, and you have a really tough marriage because you weren't strong in Christ to start off with. She wasn't strong in Christ, and so you end up dragging that person down. Okay, so excellent books on that. I'd encourage you to read those books and get those books. All right, so that is, but what I want to say is Christians should have a higher standard of marriage, okay? They should enter marriage cautiously, okay? And find that right person that they're going to marry. Enter it cautiously, okay? Don't rush into it. And then, once you're in it for the lifetime, okay? Till death do you part, okay? So anyway, that's all I have for today. We need to take care of our marriage. Thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through the book of Matthew. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.